Hey everybody, this is Grace. In this video, what I'm going to talk about is basically when people try to interpret, I guess I could say, others, that when they don't really understand what these others are saying. They're using expressions or just something local. Think along the line of, I had written down a whole list of these, but along the line of people who live in the boonies, who live in the holler, who live in the sticks, who live in the backwoods, whatever you want to call it. There's so many different names for these, and they're not all the same either. But they have a local expressions, local slangs, or not, maybe not even local. Sometimes it's state. Now, I live in Texas, and I was born and raised in Texas, and there's a lot of different, I don't remember if you call them dialects or what, but I can remember translating from one area English that was spoken with one of these to another that was from that spoke English, but from a different country. I've done that. I've done various ways of translating English into English, or should I say Texan into English. But there are so many different ones too. I was born and raised in Texas, like I said, but I lived in many places in Texas, plus many places in the United States. Not many, but yeah, from towns to cities, exurbs, suburbs, rural, not really rural so much. You name it. I just moved around a lot, been to a lot of places, and I picked up a lot, starting when I was 18. Okay, I picked up a lot of my accents, more than just Texan, let me put it that way. This slide is being long today. Anyway, so pardon the blinker. But, like I was saying, people have different ways of expression, especially if a place is more, sheltered, like sheltered from other, like people don't, I grew up in a place like this. They don't really go outside of the town much to do things, at all. And when they do, they just go there to buy something and come back home. But it's seldom. They usually buy from their own town, city. It's a small city. But anyway, so like I said, some people, I have realized that the accent but the language, the lingo, maybe lingo is a better word, that I grew up with was more, they really hadn't changed much probably since who knows when. It was more a British, really. And the expressions, a bunch of it was British. And anyway, the reason this is on my mind is because I see too many people trying to do this, online. They're trying to really, like they're trying to, first of all, they're trying to figure out what are they saying? What does it mean? Some of them don't even do that. Some of them just interpret it the way they want to without asking, what is it? What does it mean? They don't want to know. They want to just say they already know. Okay? They already know. No, you don't. In fact, some of them I'm like, that's not what it means at all. You're taking it way down a different road than what that would mean. Way down. Like, let me give you an example. It just came to me today, and because I have a reason today. But I've been saying this recently. I've gotten 2 dogs that were both rescued. They were rescue puppies each. Different time, about, what was it, like a year and a half apart or 2 years that I got them. Anyway, these are ones that they're not they don't have manners, and we've had to teach them manners. And one of the things they like to do is almost knock me down. Well, actually, one of them did knock me down. So, and the other one has been working on it. Oh my goodness. And anyway, when they my SUV decided it wanted to drive for me right there. Anyway, so this this latest one, the other one finally learned the manners, okay? Not to do that, not to step in front of me, not to try to knock me down, not to push me from the back, back of my legs. And he finally learned that. He's older. Now the other one, he just doesn't seem to think he has to have any manners yet. He's only a year old. And the gas keeps going down. It's 3:59 here. Anyway, see that sign. Real life happens in the middle of a video. But anyway, he almost knocks me down. But what I catch myself saying is not, you're going to knock me down. Maybe sometimes I'll say that. But I say, you're going to drop me. Okay, now where in the world did that come from? I have no idea. At my age, I cannot remember ever saying that. And I would do it repeatedly. It's like it comes right out, once the dog hits my legs or something at the wrong time and stands in front of me, or I turn around and he's laying right behind my legs, something like this. I say, you're going to drop me. Where did it come from? Now, if somebody else were to say it, I'm pretty sure I'd say, yeah, I get it. I understand, But some people would say, what? He's going to drop you. But that, wherever it came from, like I said, I don't know at this point in my life. But yeah, now imagine some people, who've never heard of that, like I just said, they might not understand it. They might not even think that way. They might come up with some other totally different meaning to it when it had nothing to do with that. And this is what I'm seeing a lot of, a lot lately. Okay, now that I stopped at a store, I can look at my notes. I still didn't write all of it down. I had these in my SUV for a while. I guess that's what I was talking about. I titled it Country Folk Speak. I wrote that on, let's see, tomorrow will be a month. Yeah, a month ago. Some of them, man, they're from years ago. Anyway, and the example I was giving then that I wrote down was like when somebody says something like, what, are you an idiot? They're not actually calling you an idiot. Now, it depends on, who's saying it and where they grew up, basically. When they say, what, are you an idiot? It really means, what has you so blinded that you cannot see the truth? Okay, you can't see the reality, you can't see the truth. And what has you so blind to that? It's, like I said, it's not them saying you are an idiot, but some people will take it as that saying you are an idiot. Okay, But anyway, like I said, they people need to learn that sometimes you can't do that. You can't, I wrote down also putting in quotations, the old-fashioned word decipher. Some just say cipher. Interpret it. They try to analyze it, but they don't speak it. Let me see what else I wrote. In sociologist. I'm a sociologist. Social behavioral scientist. I earned my degrees, plural, in order to be able to say that, right? Anyway, but something that they can just, slip those things in, and they translate it a certain way, and then they just plug it into whatever is their own narrative, and think that that's fine, that nobody's going to catch it any other way. That's not so true. It's just not so true. And when you change a meaning for a second, somebody was walking by. But yeah, when they change the meaning, and especially if it's someone who, is like internet sleuths, or even some people who had and maybe do now work in some form of investigation, investigative reporter, or they were or still are in law enforcement, and they go outside of their own area, like they go to they're doing it on the internet, totally outside of their area. Think as if somebody did it for people in Texas, people who live in New York. Well, there's always that old thing about New York and Texas. But think about how the differences would be in the translation. Either way, either direction. and this, I know when I lived in California, would go to parks, and I didn't like this, but kids would run up to me. I didn't like it because it's not safe if they do it with anybody, you know. Me, they were safe, but still, you see what I'm saying? They shouldn't be getting in the habit, and they weren't my kids, so. But, you know, I might have said something like, this was many years ago, might have said something like, hello, are you okay? Where's your mom? Where's your dad? You know, something like that. And then they would giggle, 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 and run off. Because Texan in California, accents were different. And I remember the first time I heard somebody say cool, C-O-O-L, in California, and it looked like a surfer dude. He looked like, and it was so long. I thought, how many syllables does cool have? You know, but cool, something like that. So it worked both ways, you see. Now, there it would have been common, perhaps, but not to me, and just as my accent wasn't common to other people there. You know, or it could, you know, I didn't have use any expressions, so I meant to say that would be different too. So you see what I'm saying? Now, and it just gets me for people to think, didn't they realize that, yeah, you know, you're going outside of that's, you know, like, if there was a situation with law enforcement, it would be the locals, it would also be the state, and then it would be the federal, you know, depending on what it is. And, you know, they would still, they would rely on people who were, you know, maybe the federal would rely on people who are local for these kinds of things, these kinds of expressions, these kinds of, you know, it's not just expressions, it could be behaviors. What is norm there might not be norm anywhere else. You know, and I'm saying even things that are not breaking the law, just a norm. It could be very different. You know, what is acceptable or not acceptable could be acceptable there. You see what I'm saying? Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to go into Tuesday morning, although it says 24-hour fitness up there. But that's behind here, I believe. Anyway, I'm going into Tuesday morning, and I'll talk to you on the video. Bye.